So, talked a little bit about like in school and stuff like that. This is your first podcast appearance, eh?
Yeah, it is.
So, why don't we start at the start with your music journey, and if there's anything before that you want to go to, but at least with your music journey and kind of how it's been since then, bro.
Yeah, okay. Well, like I said before, I started with poetry when I was younger. I started writing poetry when I was like 14. It started with cheesy shit, writing stuff like girls and stuff like that. And then it kind of went on from there as my mind expanded a bit more. And then, when I was 16, I started getting into hip hop. I remember releasing my first song, and the people who there were a few people who sort of supported me, and those people were like, this is really good, like you've got to release more. And I was hesitant at the start. I was like, maybe not, I'm not sure. And then I just ended up releasing more and more. I started on SoundCloud, and then went to started uploading songs weekly on Instagram for a few years, just like little 1 minute songs, little over my favorite beats and shit like that, or random beats I'd find on YouTube. And then it's probably 2 years ago, maybe 3, I think it's pushing for 3 years now, where I started taking it really seriously. I started meeting musicians. I started expanding outside of my area, meeting musicians in Sydney and up in Newcastle and things like that. I got connected with one of my mates, Lucid. He him and me, he was someone who started to push me massively. And then we ended up creating a group, ECR, the East Coast Reapers. And that's got a bunch of other boys in it, YMB, True Blood, Lil Merce and Hackster. And from then we've just kind of worked together, supported each other, pushed each other to make more music. And I think having people like that around you always pushes you more and more. So, yeah.
That's important, isn't it, bro, to have that like circle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. I think it's something that people lack a lot. There's a lot of people that think like doing things solo is the best way to go about it sometimes. They think like, there's a lot of that trust no one mentality and stuff like that. And as much as, maybe that's true when it comes to relationships and things like that, depending on who you are, I think when it comes to music, you've got to just expand and talk to other people, and everyone has different ideas. Everyone's built from a different background and things like that. So everyone's got different ideas and something that they can, give to you.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point too. Yeah, everyone comes from a different background, and everyone can bring something different to the table.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always struggled with, not that I've struggled working in teams. I've always been someone that naturally just likes to do things myself.
Yep.
But I see the value in teams, bro, and you need a team, like to do anything, like if you want to achieve, whether it's in music or whether it's what I'm doing, you need a team. Like and we've talked about this a little bit, like burnout and like your actual work capacity. Like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yourself.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
At some point you have to get other people on board, and if you're against that, like you're limiting yourself, by being opposed to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, what's your experiences with burnout and stuff, bro?
I can tend to burn out quite easily sometimes. I put way too much on my plate or too much pressure on myself. I think like sometimes keeping the ideas to yourself at the start is a good way to prevent burnout, because if you tell them to everyone else, you feel like a pressure to impress those people or get it out on time and things like that. Where if you do it all by your own books and then start to tell people once you've got it in the roles, that's a way better way to help yourself not burn out. But I think putting too much on my plate's the biggest thing when it comes to burning out.
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, that's probably a good idea. I personally I don't really struggle so much now to follow through on things, but initially, at least when I started this, I would say stuff publicly so that I had to do it. You know what I mean? Because otherwise I would just like, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do this. But I think now I'm in a position where I know I'm going to do it, and that might be better, to keep it to myself, get it actually working. I also just get excited.
Yeah, I do that too, yeah.
And I just want to say it like, oh yeah, we're doing this or that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But which actually remind me, I've got a question to ask you about something. We're doing a comp over the Christmas period. I haven't said any details other than that too publicly, but remind me after this, and I want to chat to you about that. But
sounds good.
Okay. So you were in school, you met Lucid, you started East Coast Reapers, and you're pushing each other to do more. So where has that sort of taken you? Like, what's happened since you guys formed East Coast Reapers?
We've all definitely gotten bigger, gotten more listeners, because Lucid's from Newcastle, and then Hacksters from Campbelltown, and the other 3 boys are from down in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
So it's anywhere along the East Coast. And because of that, everyone's got their own group of listeners, and everyone's also got their own style. So everyone has different sets of listeners, even if they're from the same sort of area. And that's helped us push more and more. I've now got a bunch of fans up in Newcastle and fans down in Victoria that listen to my music more. But yeah, we've all got different ideas and different skill sets as well, which helps massively. I know when I'm struggling with a hook, I can message Lucid or True Blood. They're both really good at hooks. And they can help me, you know, write something or come up with ideas and stuff like that as well. So it definitely helps having different skill sets throughout the group, because then I don't have to put too much pressure on myself for one thing.
Nice, man. That's good. And that's another benefit of the team is, like, sometimes it's good to just be able to bounce your ideas off someone. And sometimes by being able to do that, you can actually come up with a solution yourself.
Yeah,
But just having someone to talk to can sort of unlock that.
Yeah. Sometimes, like you said, it can unlock it. You're talking to someone about an idea and it will spark something in your own brain.
Yeah. That's awesome, bro. So, okay, so what are your goals with the East Coast Reapers? It is East Coast Reapers, isn't it?
Yeah, East Coast Reapers.
I want to make sure I'm saying it
ECR
right
for
now.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, ECR, yeah.
Well, at the moment, we haven't got anything as a collective together out yet. We want to make it sort of like a group as well.
Yeah.
So think of like NWA, how they've got a group, but they're also Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, DJ Yellow, Ice Cube, all that.
Yeah.
We're trying to get some more group stuff on the roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main goal for now, and then we'll push from there. We're trying not to look too far ahead, because we know we'll end up putting too much pressure on ourselves.
Yeah, I get you, bro. Do you know Urban Architects?
Yeah, name rings a bell.
They're a bit of a niche group. I took a bit of a gamble when I asked you that, because I thought, he might not know. They're a bit niche, but they're from New York. And anyway, they do some super raw and underground stuff. And they're doing that similar thing where they've got a group, which is Urban Architects.
Yeah.
But then there's Josh Alias and all the other members of the group that do their own stuff. And bro, for them, and I guess it's the same with like NWA as well. But for them, like, they've been far more successful as a group.
Yeah.
You know, than they were in their solo things. And I feel like it is because what you were saying, one of them's really good at hooks, one of them's really good at the thought-provoking lyrics, one of them's really good at the producing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And you all come together and you build that really cool group.
Yeah, 100%. There's been heaps of examples over the years. Wu-Tang is another great example that were massive as a group, and as much as they were still big as Method Man and Redman and RZA and all that, there was definitely bigger as a group because they had all those ideas.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Okay, so when you how did you lead? How did everything you're doing with ECR lead you to where you are now with Scumbag Season?
I think, that's a little bit of a tough one. I guess like pushing ourselves with our different fan bases and that, it got more eyes on different sets of my music as well, because everyone's got their different fan base, so it got more eyes on it. And it definitely gave me more confidence to work with other people as well.
Nice.
Before ECR was very much just do things on my own. Hadn't really thought about writing songs with other artists because I didn't know how to approach it or didn't know, what questions to ask, where with ECR it's helped me become more comfortable with just reaching out to artists and being like, hey, do you want to jump on this? Or, I've got this idea and I think you'd be good on this. Do you want to get to work and stuff like that?
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, bro, because I found a kind of similar thing. Like when I first started this, I did a few episodes just with some friends of mine and stuff, and they're still up there, but they're not great quality and the lighting and this and that. But also like it's got nothing to do with hip hop. Yeah. I just did it so that I could try and work out the format, and I'd never done this before, so I needed to like try and find my feet, I guess. And I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like I was a bit unsure of how to approach artists. I thought no one's going to want to come on a platform that doesn't have any attention on it.
Yeah.
But how do you get the attention without anyone coming on the platform?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
But bro, people are just open to it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And that's what I realized, and it sounds like what you realized too. Like if you hit people up, like they're probably looking for people to work with too. Like they're probably keen, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you hit them up. So
yeah,
it works out well. So what are you doing? Like, and for everyone that maybe doesn't know about Scumbag Season, like why don't you talk a little bit on Scumbag Season and the goals there and how you got in touch with the boys over there? And
yeah, okay. Well, Scumbag Season is mainly the main two artists in it, like Dat Kid Deuce and Young Casper. I first got in contact with them through TikTok. Actually, I come across some of Young Casper's raps, and I started commenting and interacting with him, and then I messaged him and I was like, hey, do you want to, maybe work on something? Let's follow each other on Instagram and support each other and that. And it's just kind of pushed from there. Scumbag Season is similar to ECR in a sense, but on a bigger scale. They're a collective, or a label as well. And everyone in there has their own style. Everyone's got different goals and different aspects on different things. So it's good, you can just come to the group chat and message something and everyone's straight in there with their own thoughts on the situation and things like that, and it helps massively.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome, bro. And like they've got some awesome collabs as well, like we were talking about before. They've got like Snoop Dogg on a track, on a tape, or actually, is this all public?
Yeah.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah, well, it's released on Audio Max. So
okay, cool. Yeah. And so the tape, and you're on the tape as well, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the tape. Yeah, I'm not on the one on Audio Mac, but the one that's going to be put on Spotify and everything, I'll be on that. Yeah,
bro, and like that's fucking sick. You know what I mean? It's like now all you got to do is like just keep working, keep focused. You've got the connections to fucking get you on tracks with like Snoop Dogg or Lil Wayne or any of those guys, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is awesome, bro. So I don't know, what's it been like working with them, and how have they helped you kind of like, have you developed an audience over there? Because they're based in, where is it? It's in New York, right?
Yeah, at least, I'm not sure where everyone's from, but I know that Young Casper and that kid Deuce are from New York, from Buffalo.
Nice.
But yeah, I've definitely got an American following now, starting to pick up more followers from over there and more listeners from over there, which is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once I've got a track with Young Casper that'll be on the tape called Rowdy.
Yeah.
And once that releases, I know it's going to push it more, and he's obviously benefited from getting listeners from over here and followers from over here as well. So yeah, it's good. It just helps us network across two different areas, because obviously the hip hop scene in New York and the hip hop scene over here is like completely different. So yeah.
Yeah, nice, man. And I think I was saying this on the live we did just before the episode too. Like, I think your voice, especially in your raps, is very unique, and I think that is probably because you might be able to speak on it more, but it's because you've got British blood, do you?
Yeah. My dad's full English, and
cool.
all of his side of the family is all English. So yeah, and then my mum's Australian. So
nice.
Yeah.
So you've got like a cross between like the sort of the two accents and the two, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so in your music, it really comes through, and it's and I was saying on the live, like I feel like it's a really unique blend, and it makes for it probably more widestream appeal in terms of like other countries and stuff, you know what I mean? The US and that.
Yeah, definitely. I do feel like my music's more appealing to people in the UK as well, because of that twisted accent. Like people over there can appreciate it a little bit more, because I know for some reason like people in other countries find it hard to understand the Australian accent a lot, especially if it's like true blue ochre kind of Australian accent. So having that twist, I guess, maybe makes it a little bit more understandable possibly.
And more like appealing too, I think, because like the Aussie accent, even like for me, like when I listen to some stuff, like I still love it and respect it for the art and stuff, but like and don't get me wrong, like this guy is an absolute killer. He's an amazing artist, and I love his music. But like Brad Strite, you know what I mean, or Bias B, like pick any of those guys, and if you show that to someone in America, like just the twang in they're not going to like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you are 100% right. Like I said before, I've got family over in England. So cool. I have tried to like put them on to some of that music. Brad Strutt, I listen to a fair bit. I like Brad Strutt a lot. And I tried to show one of my cousins Brad Strutt about 6 months ago, and they were a bit like, oh, what's this? They didn't really get the whole accent. They didn't think it sounded good on the beats and stuff like that, but everyone's got their own opinion, and I guess when you're raised, like the hip-hop scene over in the UK is completely different to over here, so when they're raised on that sort of hip-hop and then they listen to hip-hop from Australia, it's very different and hard to get used to, I guess, at the start. So
what do you mean by that? Because I don't follow a lot of UK rap pretty much at all, and it's not because I'm not interested, I just haven't gotten into it. So in what ways is it sort of different?
It's predominantly drill over there. A lot of it's drill. Just the way they deliver things, the way that they flow on beats, and that it's very different to Australia. I guess they're a little bit less harsh. A lot of them are quite smooth on the beat. There's like the jazz hop kind of scene is coming through massively over there, and that's very smooth and soothing, where the Australian sound for the most part is quite aggressive compared to that.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got gutter rap, we got grime, we got drill, we got fucking. What do you call it? Like, is it just boom bap before the gutter rap? Like, what? Or is there a name for that subgenre of Oz hip hop?
I don't, not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I'd say it's just like boom bap,
The old
boom
school
bap,
stuff, yeah.
old school shit, yeah.
Yeah, nice. But yeah, it's like it's a lot of it is. You're right. A lot of it is aggressive. I love that jazz hop, bro. I'd like to see some more of that in Oz. But I don't know if that's the direction that the next wave is heading. Do you have any like thoughts on that? Like what the next wave might be?
Yeah, I do think the jazz hop wave will hit somewhat soonish in Australia. From what I've seen, we kind of not copy, but like take direction from the UK scene a lot, because UK and Australia are similar in a lot of ways. Like, as much as the music and the culture is different, it's the countries are quite similar in a way, and the people are quite similar. And like drill's obviously been big here for a few years now, but it's been massive in the UK for like 10 years. And we got our grime sound kind of off of the UK a lot. I think that's where a lot of the grime artists come from, was inspired by UK stuff like JME and Skepta and those old school boys from the UK.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar feeling, bro, about the jazz hop. I didn't know it was big in the UK. But it may just be like what I wanted more than what I thought. But I definitely wanted like a wave of jazz hop in Australia. I think it'd be cool, bro. I think, we've seen it with drill, where drill is more appealing to other countries and stuff, the Australian drill. And I think we'll see that with jazz hop as well, because like you said, it is very smooth. It's probably going to take a lot of that twang away from the voice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, people will have to hold their notes a little bit more and things like that, and it'll be a more kickback delivery. So there's not going to be those hard twangs, and that more aggressive style will lay back, and it'll be more appealing for sure. Yeah,
exactly, bro. So do you ever mess around with that jazz hop kind of thing?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got quite a few tracks on my laptop at the moment that I'm messing around with that are jazz inspired.
Cool.
I actually grew up listening to a bit of jazz. My dad listens to a bit of jazz and stuff. So
nice.
I got a lot of jazz vinyls that I put on the weekends when I'm cleaning and shit like that. So I've definitely got a lot of that sort of stuff on the way.
Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for it, and a bit more fucking saxophone in hip hop would be sick.
I love saxophone so much.
Yeah, my dad plays sax as well, so if I get onto a producer, maybe we could get him doing some samples and stuff.
That'd be mad.
Yeah, bro, a bit of jazz in some music, but I want to talk about your track I&E.
Yeah,
it's very. I was listening to it today. It's You got something to say in that track, eh?
Yeah.
Is that directed at someone? Was that inspired by a specific...
Not by a specific person, but it's definitely inspired by the current situation of Australian hip-hop. I feel like I say in the song, just another chill, just another husky, I feel like everyone's trying to copy their favourite artists instead of taking inspiration from their favourite artists. They're just trying to copy them, just copy their flows, copy their rhyme schemes and things like that, and they fall off super quick. They never last, because there's only one husky, there's only one chill in it. You can never be that same person, and I think it's something that frustrates me a lot. I'd like to see new waves and people with new sounds and new ideas, because it helps the scene, where if you're just copying, it doesn't do anything for the scene, really.
Exactly right, bro. I completely agree, man. And it's you do see a lot of people try and piggyback off the success of others. And I've said this on the podcast a bunch of times, like Chillin' It didn't become Chillin' It by trying to be like someone else.
No, he brought something completely new to the scene. That's why he blew up. He come with a new sound and new ways to rap and things like that, and that's what perked people's ears up to listen. Yeah.
Exactly right, bro. I completely agree. Okay, so it's kind of aimed at the state of the culture and the state of a lot of the artists that are coming into it. Do you think that's going to change? Do you think it's going to stay that way, or like what do you think sort of happening with that?
I think it will always kind of stay around. It might fade out, but I think it will always stay around to an extent. Sadly, there's always going to be, like we were talking about before, people who jump on it for the money and things like that. And I think that's where a lot of those artists come from. They see people like Chillin' It and like Husky making a living off of music, and they go, oh, if I copy them, I can get exactly what they're getting. I can make the success that they're making. But that's not how it works. They're big, like we said, because they brought something new to the scene.
Exactly, and that's what I like about your style, bro. And I've said this a few times on live streams and stuff, and I think and I was saying it literally today on the live stream just before recording this, is like your your music is unique. It is your own style. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It is your own sound, and that's exactly what you have to do. And I was even chatting with Azadee about this yesterday. Like, it's exactly what you have to do if you want to, if you want a chance of becoming the like next Chillin' or next Hustle or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what that actually means is like you've got to do your own sound and do your own style and try and find something that's going to take off.
Yeah, 100%.
What was your process like finding your sound, finding your style?
Long.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've ventured across a lot of styles. I tried a bit of drill. Obviously, I still mess around with it a bit, like the track Facelift. Yeah, I was at the start. I was definitely trying to take a lot from the Oz scene instead of bringing something completely new and completely fresh. I was trying to take a lot of inspiration from what's already going on, and then I realized like the scene needs fresh sounds. It needs something new for people to listen to. That's what gets people excited. That's what brings more eyes to the scene and things like that. And yeah, that's when I kind of just started messing around with my own style, seeing what suits me the best, and yeah.
Do you think you've found that now?
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone will have their own opinions. Some people think I sound better on certain tracks. You know, that's why I try to stay a bit versatile. We've got the Weekend's Wasted EP, where it's like a lot of garage sort of sound, which appeals to the UK audience a bit more. Didn't do so well over here.
Yeah, right.
But and Facelift is another example because it's quite heavy drill that did quite well over in the UK, but the listeners over here kind of fell off a little bit. But with tracks like I&E and Doc Martens, that hard boom bap, that they definitely do better over here because it's something new for the listeners.
Interesting, man. That's interesting because I really enjoyed that Weekend's Wasted EP.
Yeah, it's one of some of my favorite tracks I've written. I had a lot of fun writing them.
Yeah. It does sound like a lot of fun. Like when you listen to them, the tracks are fun.
Yeah.
You know, there's some cheeky lines in there and stuff, which is great. There's another cheeky line in Doc Martens as well. What is it like? I only eat bush. No, I don't eat bush if the situation's hairy. Something like that.
Yeah, don't beat around the bush if the situation is hairy.
Yeah. I like that stuff. It's funny, bro. It keeps you engaged. You know what I mean? So run us through the Weekend's Wasted EP, bro. Like, where did the concept come from? Because I thought from the moment I found it, I thought this is a really cool concept. Yeah, but I'll let you talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I listened to a lot of UK hip hop, a lot of it. Grew up on a lot of the old garage scene. So even the singers, like, I don't know if you know Craig David. Yeah, he's an old like R&B garage singer from the UK. AJ Tracy, people like that. And so I've always been inspired by it. And then I was talking to my mate Lucid, the one that started East Coast Reapers with me. And he was saying that he had ideas for possibly doing some garage tracks, and that kind of sparked something in me. And I got on the surf looking for beats and having a look for some garage ones, and I stumbled across them, and I was like, yeah, I can definitely jump on these, have some fun with it. And that's the whole idea of it, just something that's not so serious. Obviously the other tracks are a bit more punchline heavy, bar heavy, where that I can just fuck around, have fun, do cheeky lines like you said. You know, make it a bit more clubby as well.
Yeah, that's another good point about it. That's definitely something like those tracks could be played in a club.
Yeah, that's the whole idea with it, because I know I don't have a lot of tracks like that. A lot of them are more for listeners at home or show your mates or whatever, but not club tracks. So yeah, that was definitely a main goal with them.
And that's good because they're going to be tracks that you can do at shows and stuff like that as well. They're probably good show tracks and that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's something to get the crowd jumping around and having fun and loosening up and shit like that.
Exactly, bro. Yeah. So what's your process been like getting to, say, open mics? Like, I actually know nothing about the open mic scene around here.
I haven't actually dove into it too much. It's something that I'm starting to get to. I'm connecting with a lot of artists that do things like that. But we've always had a scene for it. There's a lot of if you go on YouTube, old grime ones with like Chillin' at Wombat, Fracture, a lot of those boys, Talakai. They all jumped on mics and just one after the other just pass the mic to each other and just go crazy over beats. And I think the scene's starting to push towards it again. I think it fell off for a while for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe just some of the old heads got a hold of hip hop and were like, no, we don't like this or something. But now that the younger generation's starting to take a hold of it again, it's something that's coming back. So I think it's really good for the scene as well. It helps people connect. You know, you rock up to an open mic night. There's all different artists, ones that you would have heard of before and talked to before, and ones that you never would have heard of. And it helps people connect and find new connections to spark ideas and things like that.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, if you go and you do your set or whatever and you hang around for the whole night, you can watch watch everyone and be like, oh, actually, I might want to collab with that guy.
Yeah,
You
exactly. 100%.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, bro. Oh, I just got to change the battery.
Yeah, you're right.
So you're considering moving to Melbourne?
Yeah, it's something that's on my books for sure. It's something that I want to do and most likely will do in the future. How soon, I don't know. But yeah, it's like we said before, it's the creative capital of Australia. I think it's the place you want to be if you're a creative of any sort, producers, artists, fashion designers, anything like that. I think it's the best place to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be, man. It seems to be. And there's a lot of like podcasts and stuff. I know the culture shows down there. You got Wiz FM down there, and I'm sure you got countless others down there as well, you know. So I think it's a good place, man. And the fucking like prices of rentals and shit, like I'm paying like I share with my sister, but between us we're paying like I think it's like $530 a fortnight.
Yeah.
And we're half an hour from the city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you go to Melbourne, you can get a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom in the city for like $350 a week.
Yeah.
And it's not
crazy.
like this tiny cramped little apartment. Like it's just like this, but with 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so much more affordable. It's so much. Have you been to Melbourne?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. Yeah.
And it's a nice city.
Yeah, it's heaps nice.
You know what I mean?
I love it in Melbourne. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I've only been there once, but and for only a brief amount of time. But just everything I've heard about it, plus that one trip there, I think it's definitely for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Flat Cannon is someone that's been fucking tuning into every episode, man, tuning into every live, really engaging with the stuff and that. And he was saying that he would like to see more of me asking every guest, who are your inspirations, and what are your favorite like songs at the moment and of all time?
Yeah, okay. My biggest inspirations, for different reasons, Eminem is a massive one, because of the fact he was, apart from Beastie Boys, he was like the first like solo white artist to really push through. Obviously, hip hop is primarily a black culture thing. It come from black culture, and for Eminem to push through and prove everyone that hated him at the start wrong, he's a massive inspiration for that reason. As for my sound and delivery, especially, Dr. Dre is a massive inspiration. 50 Cent for my style, you know, things like Doc Martens were sort of loosely based off 50 Cent songs. Kind of got the ideas of like Candy Shop and things like that. You know, it's where the cheeky lines come from. And my favorite artist is also a bit of an inspiration is Biggie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Biggie fan.
Yeah,
I
bro.
grew up listening to a lot of him. I like how he's always just kick back. You know, he's never trying to rush things. He's never aggressive, nothing like that. He's just kick back. He's always sounds like he's spitting for fun. You know, he's never anything too harsh.
That's true, actually, yeah. I've never noticed that specifically, but that is absolutely true.
Yeah, he's got like a lazy flow. So yeah. As for favorite songs, favorite songs of all time, a lot off the Marshall Mathers EP. Kill You by Eminem is one of my favorites.
Which one's that again?
The You Don't Wanna Fuck With Shady.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Shady will fucking kill you.
Yeah, that's it. I love that track.
Yeah.
Pretty much any Dr. Dre song or any Biggie song, I love all of them.
Yep.
Can't go wrong. And currently, I listen to a lot of UK hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
Sad by Gliz. That's a mad song. I definitely recommend checking it out.
All right.
That's my favorite song at the moment. And I don't know if you've heard of Loyal Kana. He's another.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's very jazz inspired.
Okay.
UK hip hop. You'd probably like him a lot.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah, it's Loyal Kana, LOYLE space CARNER.
Yeah, okay. What was the name of that track that you said before?
Oh, Sad by Gliz. GLIZZ.
GLIZZ.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the pleasure of seeing Loyal Kana live in July, I think it was.
Oh, nice.
And he was so good. And yeah, pretty much anything by him I really like. Favorite tracks would be Homerton is a really good one. And he has a track called Still, which is about kind of being famous and getting a name, but he's still a human at the end of the day. You know, one of the lines in it, I can't remember it exactly, but he says, you know, if you hit me, then I bruise, because he's still like every other person. So yeah, they're sort of some of my favorite tracks and artists at the moment.
Isn't it interesting, like how when people reach a certain status, like it's just something happens in the brain where you no longer really see them as a person.
Yeah.
You know, and like your children and stuff like that, like people don't see him as a person or anyone at that sort of status.
Yeah.
But if you just sit down and chat with him, he's just a fucking person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just like
You know?
us at the end of the day.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
he might have a bit of fame, but at the end of the day, he's still human. We're all the same. Like, you
Yeah.
can't change that. So,
Which even for me, it makes it even crazier to like really like fully understand the fact that he is a person and he did all that shit himself and he built himself. Like
Yeah.
that's just crazy to me. You know,
Yeah.
people have like different opinions. I've realized on Chillin' It, like people in the scene have different opinions on him because some say that he's not like he's commercialized and he's not true to the culture and this
Yeah.
and that. But I like say what you want about him, but man, you have to respect him for his fucking business like mindset.
oh,
and
100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's built a whole business off what he does just from, to start with. It was just like a few tracks that really blew him up. And from there, he's just, gone crazy with it. Yeah.
He has gone crazy with it, and that's the important part because
Yep.
a lot of artists will get that opportunity where they do have a few tracks that blow them up. But it's one thing to do that, and it's a whole nother thing to be able to know what to do with that.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
Yeah, something that people lack a lot. They get this boom, but they don't know how to keep riding it. They don't know
Yeah.
how to keep people listening. They just kind of go, "Oh, I've had a few tracks blow up," and then they try to replicate those same tracks where Chillin' It kept coming out with something new every time, and that kept people going, "Oh, okay, maybe he isn't the person I thought he was." I actually, I started off when Chillin' It first blew up. I was a massive fan, and then for some reason my mindset kind of changed on him. As through like my late teens, and I started to think kind of like that he was commercialized and stuff. But in the last like year or so, I've realized that he's riding his wave. He's bringing out new styles for everyone to listen to. He's not really commercialized. Like you said, you can say what you want, but he's branding himself and he's doing it right because he's big and he's still relevant, and I see him being relevant for years to come. So
so do I.
Yeah, he's doing it right. I think people would just hate on it because they're jealous.
Yep,
for sure.
Exactly, bro. Completely agree.
Yeah,
completely agree, man. And it seems to be a lot of the people that seem to have that opinion seem to be. They've been doing it for a long time and they haven't achieved anything close to what he's achieved.
Yeah, exactly. People see him and they're like, "Oh, he did this for like a year or so, or not even, and he's like so big and whatever." And it's like, but if you actually look behind the scenes, like we were saying before, everyone's human. He would have worked at it for years.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if he's not public about it, I'm sure he's been writing since he was a teenager, messing around with bars. Like I said before, the old grime like open mics and stuff, they come out like 10 years ago and stuff, and he was spitting on them.
Yeah.
So he's been around in the scene for ages. He's definitely earned everything that he's achieved.
Completely agree, bro. And his work ethic, man, like he just goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He just fucking goes. Some people are built different, man, and I really think he's built different because, like I can work, like some days I'll be working and I'll be going like all day, but I just can't do that every day. No. Some days I just really struggle to just get half of what I wanted to get done.
Yeah.
But he just seems to, he's always on live, he's always posting, and he's just always going.
Yeah. Some people, like you said, are built different, and then there's some people like us where I think rest is just as important as working hard. I guess maybe as you get a little bit bigger, maybe it motivates you more. I guess if you're in Chillin' It's circumstance, you've got people to an extent expecting something of you, so he feels like that extra drive maybe. But yeah, some people are definitely just built differently, got crazy work ethics. Yeah,
absolutely, bro. I think he's one of my all-time favorite artists, and it's not because he's got great music. I'm not saying he hasn't got great music, but the reason I put him in one of my all-time favorite artists is because of his work ethic and his business mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because especially nowadays, and especially if you want to do things independent, there's a whole lot more to being a rapper than rapping.
Yeah,
You know what I
100%. Yeah, you've got to know how to brand yourself outside of that. You've got to be a personality on social media and things like that, and that's something that he definitely can do. It's more than just releasing music, and I think the people that we're talking about before, like the ones that come in for money and they fall off quickly, is because they don't know how to do that. They don't. They don't realize that music is more than just making music and releasing it. It's about engaging fans and things like that, and building a family, if you like, people that come back to listen to your music, and people that are gonna want more from you, like merch and even meetups and things like that. They're all such important things to branding yourself that people don't realize, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, bro. I think you're hitting the nail on the head there, and I think you really did. And I was actually going to ask you sort of about that, which I'll ask you now, but you pretty much just answered it. Is like, yeah, because there's a lot of artists that are in the scene that have been making music for a long time, but and they are genuinely really good.
Yeah.
But they just don't have the ears on their music. And I was going to ask you why. Do you think that's essentially why?
Yeah, I guess it comes down to just as much as they're really skilled artists and rappers, they don't brand themselves as well outside of the music. Yeah, I definitely think that has a massive thing to do with it.
Yeah, it seems to be. It seems to be from what I've noticed. Like one of the benefits of me doing this is I've been able to chat with hundreds of different artists, even if it's just over message for a few messages or whatever. But and I've been able to check out their profiles and have a look at them and go and get a bit of a feel for them, you know.
Yeah.
And there's, like I was saying, you know, there's so many fucking artists out there that have been doing this for so long that are genuinely creating like top quality music.
Yeah.
Some of the best music in Australia, you know, well written, well produced, and it's great. And they don't get the attention on it. And it seemed the common denominator that I've noticed is what you're just talking about. People that don't understand all the other aspects that are involved: marketing, promotion, your business side, your branding, and your social media engagement, all of that. And also mindset, bro.
Yeah.
Some people have this mindset of why me, like it never works for me, and it's this negative outlook of like I never get what I want, I never get the attention I deserve, and this and that. But I think that mindset creates that reality.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If you think positively, you're gonna be more positive about it, and you're gonna have more motivation to keep doing things.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So, do you find that with yourself? What kind of mindset do you try and instill within yourself?
Always try to keep things positive. I always look for, even if something's negative, try to look for the positives within it. You know, like if I'm, you know, for example, like if a song doesn't get traction that I thought it was going to, I sit there and instead of just being upset that, oh no, it didn't get where I thought it was going to, I sit down and I think like, why didn't it get there? You know, did it not appeal to a certain audience? If you're an artist on Spotify, you can go into your Spotify for artists and have a look at your stats and stuff like that, and you can see, you know, where listeners are coming from and things, and that helps me like, you know, decipher why tracks weren't doing so well. So yeah, taking the positives out of the negatives is something that people need to do more. I think helps you look more positively on everything.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. I agree with that 110%. It's important to be able to look at your work, and I do that as well. I try to, at least, you know, and sometimes it is hard to like criticize your own work with an objective lens, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's essential even to be able to look at your own stuff that doesn't go well and be like, okay, instead of getting upset by it, like you said, just go why. All right, why didn't it go well? What time of day did you post it? What day did you post it on? Like, are these things a factors as well?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Are you posting your music when people are looking to listen to music? You know? You don't want to post it like at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. You know, everyone's at work,
everyone's working. No one's gonna. Everyone's
Exactly.
tired when they finish. They're not ready to listen to it or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly, bro. What else was I going to ask you? Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. So I've got a question as well that I've written down in my phone for you.
Yep.
So Love Hearts or Palmer Violets?
Oh, Palmer Violets.
Palmer Violets?
Oh, yeah. I absolutely love Palmer. They're probably my favourite lolly.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, I love them.
I got a little bird to help me out with some stuff. When is Brownie's Snack Reviews making a return?
Oh, okay. The true fans know about that. One day it'll come at one point. I'm focusing on music at the moment, but when I get a YouTube channel running, it'll be something that makes an appearance again.
Nice, very nice. And what else we got? So I know what your favorite drink is, and your favorite clothing brand is X Large.
Yeah.
And gin is your favorite drink.
Yep.
And I've got a few of your inspirations here. Yeah, fucking Lucid helped me out with that, eh?
Yeah.
I was speaking to him just before, and I was like, you got to send me some shit that'll spin him out that I know. You know what I mean?
I was baffled by the Love Hurts or Palmer Violets question. I was like, oh.
Yeah, so tell us about that, bro. Like they're English sweets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And because I've never heard of either of them, bro.
Yeah.
Love Hearts or Palmer Violets. What's the go with them?
Palmer Violets, they're lavender flavored lollies.
Lavender?
Yeah.
Wow.
They have a very 50-50 outlook on them. Lucid actually hates them. He'd throw them all in the bin if he could. A lot of people think they taste like soap because of the lavender flavor, and I guess it's used a lot in fragrances for soaps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Love Hearts, the closest thing I can think in Australia to them is, do you remember those little like elastic bracelets we got as kids with the lollies on them?
Yeah.
Kind of similar to that.
Right, okay, those lollies.
Yeah, they're pretty similar to that. It's probably the closest thing we've got over here.
They were pretty basic, I reckon. Like, there was more the novelty of wearing the bracelet, you know what I mean, than it was the taste of the lolly. And tell us about Brownie snack reviews. I haven't actually read the the description he gave me about it.
That started as a bit of fun. I was super high once, and my mum used to buy me snacks every week from like Woolies. She'd bring me home like a little bag of snacks just to eat throughout the week for munchies and stuff. And she'd I've always had a thing for like weird and wacky foods and things like that. And I don't remember what the first one was, but it was something weird, and I was like, oh, I should just have fun and review this for people. And I did it, and it started on Snapchat, and everyone was like, oh, this is really good, you need to review more snacks, you know. And it just kind of went from there. I'd find like weird things like Reese's have like a peanut butter cup with chips inside of it. And so I'd review things like that. Or when new lollies come out, like the flavoured milk bottles and stuff, when they first come out, I did reviews on them and stuff.
And you always do it when you're high?
Yeah.
So
nice. That was the main motive.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Man, that's great because you just get to get high and eat like food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It helps you engage with people.
Yeah. Man, fucking, this is the thing about weed. Like, I don't want to fucking tell everyone that weed's this perfect thing and it makes everything better, but like, man, like getting high and like eating food, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, there's nothing better. I was like, last night it was, I was saying to my mate, you know, I was like, because I've got this thing, like, I don't know if I ever want kids because I feel like I would be, like, I love what I do too much. I feel like I'd be a bit of an absent father, so I don't know if I want kids. And I was saying to him, like, how can kids ever make me feel better than fucking getting high? I was watching comedy, I was eating nachos, and I was like, and I just had a busy day working towards my goals and shit. Like, fucking, how's anything gonna make you feel better than that?
As soon as you have a kid, they're body crying in the background while you're trying to watch your comedy.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Man, come on, like, go have kids if you just want to have kids. Like, I'm not against people having kids. I might still have kids. I don't know. I just don't want to do it if I'm not gonna, like, if I'm not gonna be there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. What's your outlook on kids? Do you want kids?
I want them in the future at some point. When I was younger, I always wanted to be like a young sort of dad, you know, early 20s, have a kid, have a couple kids. But as I've gotten older, I think, like you said, I'm busy with music and shit all the time, or like I want to start traveling to shows more and more, and that obviously limits my time. And I think a massive factor when having kids is having a stable relationship, and that's not something I see like in the near future for me, at least. You know, I'm not focused on that sort of thing at the moment. I'm just doing music, and if I meet someone, I meet someone. It is what it is.
Exactly, bro. But, same with me. 100%. I'm not putting myself in any position to meet anyone. I literally, all of my time goes towards this. I don't have any of the apps. I don't go out and meet people. I work and then I work on this, you know what I mean? And then I watch comedy. If I'm doing like downtime or whatever, I'll watch comedy. I fucking love comedy. Do you follow comedy much?
Yeah, I do like a bit of stand-up.
Any like Oz comedians and that you big on?
I haven't got massively into the Australian scene yet. I do like classic Carl Barron. Nothing wrong with a bit of Carl Barron, but I always also mostly listen to American. My dad got me into it with Eddie Murphy's old stand-ups. They're great. Dave Chappelle, another great one. Gabriel Iglesias, I think is how you pronounce it.
Oh yeah, that's the Mexican dude.
Mexican dude.
He's great.
Yeah, he's funny. Yeah. Anyone along those sorts of lines. I like people that are not afraid to say shit. You know, there's so much in this modern society where like, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. It's wrong to say. And people who just go out and say it, they're the best ones.
Exactly, 100%, bro, 100%. And that's why I love comedy so much. Is because they say the shit that you're not supposed to say. I love all that stuff as well. Have you heard of the show Kill Tony?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah.
Do you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it.
Bro, if you love stand-up, like honestly, if stand-up is something that you fucking love, you will love that show.
Okay, I'll have to give it a go.
It is so fucking good. I'd heard about it a few times and I didn't check it out or whatever. Man, it is fucking... I literally watch it religiously. Every day. Nice. It's so good, bro. It's so funny. He just roasts the shit out of people, you know what I mean?
That's great.
He's like the most savage of all the savage comedians I've come across. Tony Hinchcliffe, the guy that hosts it, man, like... He is so savage. There'll be someone that's up on stage, and there's no fucking way I'd ever go on the show. because he crushes people, man. Like, people come up there and they'll be nervous, and it's like clearly their first time, and they'll do so bad they'll just bomb. No one's laughing, silence.
Yeah.
And he will just fucking, like, after their time's up, he will roast the shit out of them, and he will make everyone laugh at them. And it's like, you see them like their soul leaving their body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're
Like,
fucking-
why have I signed up for this?
Oh, exactly. Oh, and it's like, he's like, how did you think that was funny? And anyway, they just fucking, they ruin it. But some people come on there and they're hilarious too. And that's great as well, you know. But yeah, man, big fan of comedy. And I think there's a crossover between comedy and hip hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're both in the entertainment industry and somewhat attract the same audiences. Because obviously in hip hop, you talk about topics and subjects sometimes that aren't ones that you'd normally talk about in a conversation, where like if you're doing it over music you feel more comfortable doing it. And obviously, like we were saying about comedians, they talk about topics and make jokes about topics that necessarily you shouldn't or whatever.
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of where they come together.
Exactly, man. I think there's a lot of crossover in that aspect. And you know, you're playing with words and the whole setup punchline thing, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of humor. Like, you've got a bit of humor and like cheekiness and stuff in your music too. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Would you ever do stand up? Would you ever try it?
I don't know. I like to think of myself as a pretty funny bloke, but I think standing up in front of people trying to keep everyone laughing for ages, I don't know how I'd go. I don't know.
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of respect for him, man. I think I would like to try it. It's like a bucket list thing. Like, I'd like to do it a few times, open mics, but I don't have the because it's a blood sport, just like hip hop is. You know what I mean? It's so competitive, 100%. So many people doing it, and not many people make it through. And so I don't love it enough to do that. But I'd love to give it a go, man.
Have a bit of fun sometime.
I think my thing is, like, I can be funny, like, in a social setting, but my kind of strategy is I throw a lot of shit out there, and like maybe 50% of it lands. So I bomb a lot too. So it's like, if I was to try and come up with something for an open mic, like a mic, I'm confident I would get a few laughs, but I'm confident I would also fuck up. You know? What I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man. But this show that I was telling you about, that I'll tell you more about after we finish recording, is heavily influenced from Kill Tony. Heavily influenced, because it's such a brilliant show for up and coming comedians. And I think we need something like that for hip hop, bro. You know, you've obviously got to change it and tweak it a little bit. But yeah, I think we could do something like that. Is there anything you want to put out into the world? You know, upcoming music. You've mentioned the mixtape with Scumbag Season, like your Instagram, your Spotify, all that sort of stuff, bro. Is there anything you want to put out there?
Really just stay tuned. I'm always working. I'm planning on dropping a lot more music soon. Throughout the year, for most of the year, I was dropping a song a month, and I've kind of fallen back on it, but that's because I'm planning to release a lot more, especially for next year. I've got a few big things planned. Nice. You know, first EP or mixtape or something like that as well. I haven't, apart from Weekends Wasted, that was like a small EP, but I want to do something bigger, you know, a big album with lots of features and things like that. So,
nice, man. Yeah. Is there like anyone in particular in Australia that you're planning to collab with, that you're happy for it to be public?
I've got a lot of ideas. There's a few boys that you've had, like that you've spoken to on the show or things like that. And like I mentioned before, Busty, I'd love to work with him at some point. So that'd be mad if I could get something working with him, and Rosie as well. I like him. So, I'm just kind of surfing the scene at the moment and seeing whose sound I fuck with a lot. And man. Trying to get some ones from across overseas as well. You know, obviously I have Young Casper on something, that kid Deuce. I've got a mate over in the UK, Amos. I want to get him on a track and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of searching for some collabs at the moment.
Nice, bro. Awesome. Perfect. And so it's Elision.acr, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's how I pronounce it?
Yeah, Elision. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry to everyone. I've always been saying Elision.
No, that's fine.
But it's Elision. It's Elision. But yeah, awesome, bro. Thanks for coming on. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah,
it was good to dive into some stuff. It was good to talk about some casual stuff as well, you know, comedy and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll have to do it again, bro. It's good that you're able to come in person, because everyone's been over Zoom, bro, because everyone's in Melbourne.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's been good to have you in person, and let's chat some shit off camera. So you guys get to miss out. Peace.